It was a mixed quarter for Expedia, with the travel booking platform citing struggles from severe weather, which impacted demand and dragged down the company's momentum. Expedia did note that demand bounced back in January. Very important there. Expedia Group CEO Peter Kern joins us now. Peter, always nice to get some time with you. Let's lock in on January. What did you see trend-wise? And then have you anything you could share on how February has been shaking out?
Yeah, I think, Brian, excuse me, we've seen really nice rebound. We were seeing accelerating demand through the fourth quarter. It's just that it got hit particularly hard in the last few weeks as the storms came through, and we're very weighted towards North America, and that was a big hit for us. But demand was growing through the fourth quarter, and we saw kind of a step change into January. And so far through the beginning of the year, it's been pretty strong throughout. It's not just a January thing. And, it's global. We've seen it in many places. We've seen it driven by lots of categories. International continues to grow. And remember, we're seeing a time where last year, this time, a lot of things weren't open yet. So things like cherry blossoms, international events, things like that are still growing. And people are getting back to that in a pretty robust way.
And where is China playing into this comeback?
Yeah, I mean, China's really not going to be, I don't think, in anybody's numbers in a strong way, meaningful way, until probably the latter half of the year. There's tons of demand. We're seeing lots of searches. We're seeing lots of searches in and out of China. We have B2B partners in China that are very important to us. But because of the flight lanes and how much airlift there is, it's still somewhat limited. There's a lot of rules, as you've probably heard about, in terms of getting in and out and testing for Chinese residents going into other countries. So there's a lot of demand, clearly. There's a lot of interest. But I think until the planes start going and we start really seeing that demand, a lot of demand's a little ways out. So it'll come through the numbers, I think, more in the back half of the year. But it's definitely growing. And Asia overall is growing as more and more opens up. And it's outgrowing kind of the rest of the world right now.
Hey, Peter, it's Julie here. What's sort of the biggest change that you've seen in the past 6 months? Whether it's where people are going, the length of time they are staying, et cetera. What kind of stands out to you?
Yeah, I think we're seeing some of the things we've talked about before, which is kind of normalization, which is to say, this time last year, it was Omicron. And so everybody loved Vrbo's and other vacation rental properties at other of our competitors. Now we're seeing a much more normalized mix towards resorts, hotels. Big cities are back in a big way. All the biggest, what used to be true, which is big cities sort of commanded the most search, is true again. So I think you're seeing kind of normalization back to big cities, normalization back to international travel. There's a little less, we're seeing a little less of these long stays where people were, never going back to the office and going to stay forever at vacation rentals. I think we're seeing a little normalization of that too. Still lots and lots of travel, but just a little bit more normal mix.
And I know you guys have been working on customer and user loyalty, right? Have you found that customers are pretty fickle? They'll jump around looking for the best deal. What are they prioritizing right now?
Yeah, I think, there's always going to be a class of traveler who maybe wants to save the last dollar and doesn't care who they book with and doesn't care what the service is. But we believe that travel is really precious time and that people generally care deeply about doing it right. And so we've been highly invested in improving the shopping experience in terms of knowing what you're getting, ranking all our suppliers in terms of the quality of their experience, giving customers more tools to shop and better understand what they're getting. Because we believe, most of us want to make sure we have the right trip, not just save the last dollar. And that goes all the way through to the shopping, the in-trip experience and the service side. And we've found that our most loyal cohorts are the people we get into our loyalty program, people we get onto the app. And those have been our fastest growing cohorts during this last couple of years. So we're really excited about that. And we think the numbers, are proving that out. So, people do want to go trust their trip with somebody they trust, not just take a trip, in our opinion.
Peter, we've talked in the past about the turnaround that you continue to drive at Expedia. What inning are you in that turnaround, and what are some of your most just important goals for this year?
So I would say we're in the sixth inning, coming up maybe on the seventh inning stretch. Our big pushes this year are twofold. One, we're kind of finishing our big technical transformation. I mean, we're always improving our technology and adding features and capabilities, but we've been moving We moved Hotels.com onto the same front end as Expedia. We're moving Vrbo in the coming months. And then we're launching our big all-up loyalty program called One Key that's going to span all our biggest brands and be the most flexible, biggest rewards program in the industry. So that's a really big push for us that comes later this year. Once those two things are behind us, then it's sort of like the day-to-day, just improving and consolidating the back end. There's some efficiency opportunities there. So we're through a lot of it. And I said on our earnings, we're now at a point where we have more tailwinds from the things we've done than headwinds, but we still have a couple big things to do. But we believe we can drive really nice growth while doing those, as we have done in the past year.
Well, Peter, thanks for joining us this morning to chat about all of this. Expedia Group CEO Peter Kern, happy travels to you.
Nice to see you. Same to you.
Thanks.